psychological effect of modernism. Architecture and psychology often go hand in hand. Today I'm going to be talking about the psychological effect of architecture and modernism. Part 1, Urban Architecture. Let's start with a study done by Colin Ellard, a professor at the University of Waterloo. In his 2011 study, he walked participants through the streets of Manhattan past different types of buildings. Through wristband monitors and surveys of the participants, he found that walking past cold, monotonous building facades led to higher levels of stress. However, the opposite occurred when the participants were directed past engaging building facades in older, naturally developed areas. The subjects' mood picked up, and they became more lively, according to Ellard. The professor's study shows the effect of minimalist urban architecture on one's moods. Now let's move back in time to St. Louis, Missouri, mid-1950s. Architect Minoru Yamasaki unveils the Puro-Igo housing complex, which consisted of 33 11-story buildings. The expanses of concrete between the buildings and their rigid geometric design made it difficult for families to connect to one another and for communities to prosper. The Puro-Igo complex soon became notorious for ever-increasing crime rates and violence. Architectural critic Charles Jenks commented on their demolition in 1972, calling it the death of modernism. Although Puro-Igo isn't the only example of failed modernism, it remains as one of the strongest pieces of evidence that communal spaces and dynamic architecture are essential to the well-being of its inhabitants. Part 2, Interior Architecture. Interior design and architecture literally surround us every day, but how do they affect us? Most designers are aware that colors are a big part of psychology. For example, cooler tones are considered peaceful colors. Reds are often associated with passion. A study done by Kirsten Kaya Rosner, Brady Wagner, Sophie Peterson, and Mads Bank from 2020 to 2021 dives into the debate of curved versus geometric spaces. In the past, studies have been done confirming that individuals prefer curved shapes to angular using data from the medial orbital frontal cortex and participant surveys. However, the experimenters felt unsure that the preference to curved shapes would translate into architecture. They gathered 48 neurotypical adults to complete an experiment in which the participants traveled through 4 rooms with virtual reality. The 4 categories of rooms, all equal in color and layout, were angular, curved, modern, and classic. Each participant took a survey on affective and spatial experience after the test. While angular spaces were more often described as novel and symmetrical, curved spaces were thought to be comfortable and pleasant. Furthermore, modern spaces were described as more orderly and simplistic, while classic, traditional spaces were described as warm and neutral. However, the study found that none of the rooms seemed to have an effect on the feelings of the participants, such as shame, excitement, or confusion. Though seemingly surprising, the results of this study are reasonable. I mean, when was the last time you walked into a room and felt ashamed due to its design? A quote by Winston Churchill sums up the topic nicely. We shape our buildings, and afterwards, our buildings shape us.